Yep, yay. So we have two presenters today in this first session. From UH, we have Eric Folk. He's with the Post-Secondary Support Project, which I can personally say is awesome. And then we also have from the DD division, we have Debbie Ueda. So Eric is going to go first. He's going to talk for about 20 minutes, and then Debbie will start her presentation, and then we'll have a little bit of time for chat questions, and then we'll have a little break. And then we'll go on to our next session, have a little break. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to stop share and let Eric, you can go, and let me take the spotlight off of me and I'll put it on to you.
All right, good morning, everybody. As Amanda said, my name is Eric Folk, and I work at the Center on Disability Studies at the University of Hawaii. We are part of the College of Education, and the work we do is all around a constellation of projects that support students in college to be more successful. So we have some funding from the federal government to help students with ID go to college, and that's called the Post-Secondary Support Project. We also have several Native Hawaiian education projects that we work on to help at-risk students in the community college system and students interested in STEM education. Also, we have a contract with the Developmental Disabilities Division, where we are funded to do self-determination training around the state. So by request, we can go out and speak to just about any group and deliver this curriculum we developed about self-determination. And before we start, I just want to tell you a little bit more about the projects we do. So actually, Amanda mentioned, Amanda, I'm going to cue you to share a little bit about your experience in just a second. But what we do is we provide extra support for students beyond what's already available in college. So if your student has a disability and just needs like extra time or accommodations for the classroom to be successful, that support is already available. But if your student needs more support, like extra coaching to learn about self-determination, how to navigate the system, how to develop good academic skills, what the expectations are in college, that's where we come in. So I mentioned the first project was funded by the federal government, and that one is specifically for students with ID. That one is very intensive. Usually students start off with one regular class and 3 hours of coaching a week, and they build up from there. But I'm not really here to talk about the projects today. But if you are interested in inclusive higher ed and extra support for students going to college, then please reach out to us, and we'll be providing our information a little bit later. What I am here to talk about is the self-determination training. But before that, Amanda said, I can attest that they're really awesome, or something to that extent. So I wonder what you meant by that, Amanda. Could you share a little bit, just a little bit?
Sure. My son Ikaika is a recent graduate, and started community college this fall. And he is now spring semester, so he's got 3 classes. And he was able to join the post-secondary support project, and he had Camp Manoa to kind of get him ready and talk about self-determination. But what we really like about it is the peer mentor. And she meets with him once a week, sometimes on Zoom, sometimes in person. When he had to check a book out of the library for a class, it was the peer mentor that went with him, not mom. And I really liked that piece because he has to start learning how to access the natural supports. This is a natural support for him. And it's less dependent on me, right? So, but they're also very communicative. I'm able to email her or ask her a question or say, hey, this is coming up. Can you check in with him? And she's really helpful for that. She makes sure that they're doing check-ins with teachers. She'll check and see how your homework is doing. Now, she's not a tutor, right? But she'll see how's your homework doing? Do you need help? Can we get you help for that? Because then she can connect him to the disability office to get tutoring, things like that. So we love it. It's a great program, and he's been very successful so far. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate that, and saving me some time here. All right, I'm going to start screen sharing now. Let's see if I can start. I can jump in here. So the presentation I'm doing today is a very abridged, short version of our regular presentation called The Keys to Self-Determination. And as I mentioned, this presentation is available. So if your school or your organized group or your company wants to do this training with its peeps, we're open to that. If you have a special event, then also, like this kind of thing, we're happy to come out and do the training. The regular training is about 2 hours, so it's a little bit of a time commitment, but Once you're done with it, you will know the components of self-determination. All right, let's move along here. All right, I mentioned it before, we're a post-secondary support project. Sometimes it helps to see it in written form. We're at the Center on Disability Studies at University of Hawaii at Manoa. And then, as I mentioned, just a little bit, we work to create inclusive college campuses. So we're trying to change our system to welcome more diverse students. And we've been at this about 12 years now. Sorry if this is the first time you've heard of us. Hopefully it won't be the last. And we provide transition and post-secondary coaching support on campus as well. So we generally reach out to the schools. We have a partnership with DVR and DDD where we go to the schools and we can talk about inclusive opportunities in college. And these programs are around the whole US. There's about 300 programs that welcome students with ID to college campuses. And if you're interested in that, you can jump onto the web and look at thinkcollege.net. That's thinkcollege.net. And they have a great resource for students who want to go to college, who maybe in the past people would think college was too hard for them or not a placement. These programs redefine that. All right. Just a little bit about our model. We're working to do systems change, and we set high expectations from the very beginning. The students are college students like anybody else. They're supposed to work as hard as they can to pass the classes they're in. The coaches are there that really help them strategize and figure out how to plan for success in the classrooms. They talk about good academic habits and things like that. Overall, the big program goal is there's an agenda for self-determination, which is hopefully leading to better employment outcomes after the program is done. And we have a person-centered planning process from the very beginning, and we have regular PCP meetings that each participant undertakes. And the big part of it for us is authenticity. It's not about like a college experience. It's really a college education. And the bar we hold ourselves to is how is the student's experience in college just like anyone else? And then hopefully we don't have to do that anymore because that college student's experience will be just like anybody else. But that's the goal we're working for. And the biggest thing I mentioned, Amanda mentioned peer mentors, which are an option. We have professional coaches too that have quite a bit more training. And those coaches have the responsibility to meet with the student and really work with them on their planning and help them develop the skills they need. But peer mentors are also available, and those are student-aged they're other students basically who have been through it. Right now, both of the peer mentors, or 2 out of 3 of the peer mentors that we have are former students in our program. All right, let's get through this and get to the self-determination thing. Geez, put too many slides for 20 minutes. DVD. All right, moving along. Oh, one thing I'll just mention is, and Amanda mentioned it too, we do what's called Camp Manoa every summer. It's usually the last week of July or the first week of August, and it's completely self-determination camp. So what we do is the students stay in the dorms at UH Manoa. It's 4 days and 3 nights, and they have a regular academic schedule. So classes start at 8 a.m. and we go to about 3, and all those classes are our classes that we're training on self-determination concepts and skills. And at lunch, they eat in the cafeteria with everybody else. They stay in the dorms. It's a quad. So you go into each room. There's 4 little rooms that students stay in. Each one has their own room. And there's also a staff member in each room. It's also a great independent living experience. And it's we're focusing on working with students from the College of Education to also be participants as future educators, so that they can work closely with students and gain that experience and that point of view. And that's in partnership with the College of Education. All these things you can reach out to me about later, and I'll get you more information. All right, here we go. The keys to self-determination. And I just want to point out, this presentation is made possible by the Development of Disabilities Division. They've been a very, very good partner with us for years, and they're a partner with us on the TIPSIT program. And they've also funded this initiative, and thanks to Mary Brogan for that. On the left, you'll see the Pacific Technical Assistance Center on Transition. That's also us, same group, PSP. And again, we're part of CDS. Moving on. Okay, the first thing we really want to ask is, what is self-determination? And from the very beginning, we need to make sure we're talking about the right word. A lot of people think determination means they're going to keep going no matter what, right? They're not going to fail. But actually, in this sense, what it does mean is decide. Determination means to decide. So we were rolling on thinking everybody knew about self-determination. We have an agenda for self-determination, but we realized pretty quickly that not everyone knew much about it. And even our partners and others were like, hey, it's kind of a catchphrase, but we could definitely use some help understanding the concept. So we developed this training. And the idea is that if we can get DVR, DDD, DOE, us, and the students to understand self-determination concepts, then the handoff between these entities will really, really help in that transition. And everyone's really bought in. We trained the whole Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Oahu staff, counselors and admin staff, and they all did the 2-hour training with us, and they have a pretty good understanding of this concept. So that's also represents the partnership, strong partnership we have with DVR. All right, so determination means to decide or choose. It's when you have the ability to make your own decisions or choices. And when you're self-determined, you have the awareness, the skills, and the power to make informed decisions for yourself and your future. So that's the goal we're working for. If students started having these skills in high school, it means that they can be a part of their IEP project and be an informed partner into the IEP process and contribute to that instead of being moved through it, as so many of the students still are at times. It's a very hard thing to do. All the teachers are part of that process are super busy and have way too much to do, and they're trying their best to do all these things. And then this IEP meeting, which is supposed to be very individualized, sometimes it's just, and the students might not be prepared or have the training they need to be a part of that meeting. So that's where we come in. We try to help with that extra training. We can go out to the schools and train groups of students as well. And we're partnering with Heather and the DOE to add more programming in that regard. And we'll have more information about that in the future as well. So the basic idea is self-determined people make their own choices. And that is the goal, basically, that we're looking at. All right. So first of all, what is it? What's been self-determination is when you're aware of what you want, when you decide to work for what you want, when you regulate yourself to work for it, and when you believe and you know you'll succeed, and when you find partners and advocate. So in the next few minutes I have remaining, Amanda, how much time do I have left? I'll be covering just the basics of the self-determination components.
Just like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, perfect. I can do this. You can learn all about self-determination, 5 minutes. Here we go. So this is the acronym you need to understand. It is self-area. Each one of those letters stand for one of the very important concepts in self-determination. And if you're ready to go for the next 5 minutes, we will learn the basic components. Here we go. Self-area. The first one is self-A. When I say what is self-A, you'll say self-A is self-awareness. Here we is. Let's go. All right, self-awareness is the first concept. And self-awareness is key to the development of a self-determined vision for a life. If you don't understand yourself, if you don't understand your strengths, if you don't understand what you need help with, it's going to be pretty hard to make decisions for your life. So almost everything in the self-determination process comes back eventually to self-awareness. And this component is something we will talk a lot about in the full training. But today I'll just say right quickly that to make your own decisions and choices, you'll need to know about your preferences, strengths, challenges, values, and habits. And when we do this training, we break it down. This is just, again, a very short version of it. But these are statements. When we talk about these concepts with students, we try to break it down into statements first, and then build up to longer narratives about each one. But we don't have time for that. We're going to jump through this. So self-awareness is when you know what you care about, like, dislike, what you're good at, need help with. And this last one is how you affect others. That's a very important one that we focus quite a bit on with the students we work with. All right, so cheesy saying warning. Self-awareness is you need to know you so you can grow you. That's pretty cheesy, but it is a good idea to communicate what we're talking about. You have to understand how you're impacting other people. You have to understand what you need help with to actually grow towards making your own decisions. Make sense? Okay, I don't have time for the self-test, so I'm going to jump through this. The second one is self-regulation. So remember, it's self-area. First one, self-A, stands for self-awareness. The second one is self-regulation. So sometimes we use the word regulation. Other times we translate it to management or self-control. Self-regulation is your ability to manage your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, and appropriately and constructively, both constructively and appropriately. So when you can control yourself, basically, when you manage your own thoughts, behaviors, and actions, your self-regulation skills will help you achieve your goals. So knowing what you know through self-awareness, self-regulation is how you change things. All right. So some examples of self-regulation are taking care of yourself, getting enough sleep, learning to control your emotions or habits, predicting the effect of your actions and decisions on yourself and others. That's self-regulation. So you know about self-awareness, self-regulation, and well, this is a summary of those. Sorry, I thought I had more time. Too many slides. All right, so we're halfway there with self-area. We have self-awareness, self-regulation, which is also self-management. The third one is a really interesting concept, and it probably is the one that might be new to some of you, and this is the idea of self-efficacy. So just really quickly, I'll just tell you self-efficacy is like self-confidence, but it's self-confidence with proof or evidence. You could be self-confident about anything. Oh, I can do that. I can run a marathon, whatever. But self-efficacy goes beyond that. It's a confidence you get by knowing that you've done something similar in the past. Well, I got a bachelor's degree. I could probably get a master's degree, right? It's not just, oh, I could go straight to graduate school. It's this idea that you've earned this confidence. All right. And moving on here, we go to, so basic self-efficacy helps you because you can predict you'll succeed with something new because you remember something you've already achieved. And when you take action, because your previous achievements or successes give you that confidence, that's self-efficacy. So basically, what we're talking about a lot of times with students we work with or our kids, maybe it's just being on time to school every day. You know, being on time to school a couple times helps you believe that you can be there every day. Or it might be, I filled out this form on my own. You know, the little small steps build to a better understanding of their ability. Okay, I'm almost done. Self-awareness, self-regulation, self-efficacy, and now we're at self-advocacy. So achieving your goal may require you to have the support of others. This is where self-advocacy comes in. It's not only about standing up for your rights or asking for support, it's also asking for opportunities. You know, can I be in this group? Can I join this club? Can I get extra help with this proposal or this assignment? And self-advocacy is what we're working for. They all link together. If you have self-awareness of who you are, what you need, what you want, if you're able to set goals and regulate yourself towards your goals, if you believe in your ability, and then finally, this is self-advocacy where you can stand up and ask for what you need or ask for partnership or ask for support. So people may need to communicate their visions or request partnerships to achieve their goals. Self-advocacy is key to a person's ability to find allies and support. To be an advocate, a person needs to develop a voice, express ideas, goals, needs, and so forth. So I think I did it. Let's see. I'm going to jump through here. So that is the first introduction to self-determination training. Self-area stands for self-awareness, self-regulation, self-efficacy, self-advocacy. So if you can remember those concepts, you already know more about self-determination than many, many people. So what comes next? I just want to remind you, this is a presentation was again sponsored by the Developmental Disabilities Division, which is part of our Department of Health, again with Mary Brogan. And if you want to learn more, you can reach out to us. Here's our contact information. My phone number is on there. I gave you my phone number. Well, there it is. And then you can also reach out to us through email, cdspsp@hawaii.edu. Did I do it? Am I okay? This is a good place to stop.
That's perfect.
All
Perfect,
right.
Eric. Thank you. So he gave you a lot of information, right? Not the whole kit and caboodle. These slides will be available on the Footsteps website. We'll get them from Eric and we'll post them up there. on the 23 webinar tab, and also this recording. So please know that the recording is going to be available, so you can go back and listen to it and share it with family and friends and teachers. So don't worry if you missed it or what was that. We'll make sure you have the information. So thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate the time. I also send you the flyers for the training opportunities and everything, so you can share that as well.
Great. So we'll
Thanks,
put that
everyone.
on the steps, and then Spin will also be sharing those. Thank you.